following is a production of the Department of Broadcasting and Journalism at Western Illinois University.
Two years after a deadly explosion in Canton, new information is being released about its cause. Find out more next.
We ask our on-student campus that when they check out that they take items of value with them and that they lock up their rooms when they leave.
And winter break is fast approaching for Western Illinois University. We have more tips on how to keep your belongings safe ahead.
And News 3 takes a look at the aftermath of the tornadoes that tore through Illinois this past weekend. Coming up.
Live from Salee Hall in high definition. News 3 starts now.
Beginning with Storm Team 3 coverage, we're learning more about the severe weather that spawned more than 20 tornadoes over the weekend. Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4. I'm Devin Brooks.
And I'm Terrence Black. The National Weather Service says this was the largest December tornado outbreak since 1957.
Joining us now is Molly Naslin. She's here to explain what made this such a powerful storm. Molly?
Guys, this was such a powerful storm just because there was so much moisture in the air from that snowstorm that we had just the weekend prior. Now, as you can see off to my right here, the right-hand portion of your screen, this is a radar loop for the entirety of the storm, not just a little bit. This section down here at the bottom is the piece that went through Taylorville. The section just to the north is the piece that actually went through McDonough County. We did have reports of 2 tornadoes that were in McDonough County. Both of them were at about an EF0, EF1 level. Again, this is the section right here that went through our area. The section right down here at the bottom, this is the Taylorville tornado. Official reports are putting the Taylorville tornado at an EF3. This is the system that came through over the weekend. As you can see, there was a low pressure system that came out of the south. This is what provided plenty of fuel for this storm to go through, and it gave for plenty of severity. The track of the Taylorville tornado was approximately 12 miles. Again, that was an EF3 strength tornado. Most of the ones that were in McDonough County were at about EF0, EF1 scale. There was one in Beardstown that was about an EF1. This is just a reminder of how the damage works for an EF scale. Most of it is damage-based. As you can see, at about an EF3 level, roofs are gone, walls are torn down, foundations are severely damaged. This is what we were seeing in Taylorville. For the most part, with us, a little damage, a little bit of wind. We'll take a look at this later on. Back to you guys.
All right, Molly, and the National Weather Service has confirmed more than 24 tornadoes touched down in Illinois on Saturday. In McDonough County, we had 2 tornadoes, one in the town of Industry and one in Bardolph. No damage was reported in either locations, but a winery and vineyard in Fulton County sustained significant damage from the storm. And the water treatment plant in Beardstown was hit by the tornado, but no one was hurt. The hardest hit area was Taylorville in Christian County. The National Weather Service says an EF3 tornado swept the town. Officials say hundreds of homes were damaged and around 20 people were treated for injuries. Governor Bruce Rauner declared Christian County a state disaster area. Local experts say people were watching the storm closely.
People were talking about the possibility of severe weather 2 or 3 days before this occurred. And again, the uncertainty was how warm would it get.
This one, it felt different, a lot more intense. It wasn't as fast. A lot of the storms we see here in Illinois are fast moving.
One person was killed during the tornado outbreak in Lawrence County, Missouri. And with the recent weather, one WIU department is asking for the community's donations to keep people safe during major weather events. The WIU Department of Earth, Atmospheric and Geographic Information Sciences plan to install a new weather Doppler radar on campus to monitor the region's forecast. Staff in the department say this purchase will enhance their efforts to track weather events locally. The new radar will replace an old model no longer working. Experts say current radars are only located in the Quad Cities, Lincoln, Illinois, and St. Louis. The department needs funds to help keep up on maintenance for the equipment.
We're trying to raise money for right now is to make sure that we can keep the radar going and get software to produce really cool graphics that we can have available to the community.
The radar will be named after the late WIU professor John F. Blauvelt. He left an estate gift to go toward the purchase. Staff hope to have the radar installed by April, and you can learn more about donating at wiu.edu/EAGIS.
Last week, the Macomb area received its first significant snowfall of the winter season. News 3's Andrew Stevens explains how drivers can be a little more prepared for the weather conditions.
It is always important to keep up with your vehicle's maintenance, and even more so with the extra wear and tear caused by winter weather. During the winter months, some car issues become more prevalent than others.
Well, the most common would be probably their wiper blades don't work because they're frozen to the windshield. And the best thing to do is don't try to use them because you'll rip the blades right off.
Mark Lovell, the owner and manager of Dad's Garage in Macomb, explains what can be done to help prevent some of these common winter issues.
If you're so inclined, take a piece of cardboard, put it underneath your wiper blades to cover your windshield. Make sure your tank is full of gas. Make sure your tire pressure is good. All your fluids are good.
There are many helpful items that you can keep in your vehicle during winter, such as blankets and emergency kits, and maybe even cat litter.
Yeah, say you're in a pinch and you've got a dusting, you got some ice. Cat litter also adds weight to your car if you keep it in the trunk. Not a lot of weight, but any weight is helpful.
Taking care of your vehicle regularly can help you avoid some of the automotive problems that are brought on by the cold, snow, and ice.
The biggest maintenance thing in the winter is probably your battery or your antifreeze. Two very important things, two things that will break you down quicker than anything.
You can never be too prepared when it comes to staying safe. For News 3, I'm Andrew Stevens.
Make sure you tune in on Thursday as we will hear more from Andrew about how to stay safe while driving in bad weather. With just 2 weeks left in the semester, students are getting ready to return home for break. Less homes will be occupied, which increases chances for burglaries. To keep your home safe during winter break, OPS Director Scott Harris is reminding students to be wary of things they plan to leave in town.
Lock your residence up. Do not leave your residence unlocked. If you have items of value, a laptop, iPads, take those with you during home at the holiday break. They're safer with you at home.
Electronics are the most stolen items during breaks. Make sure that doors and windows to your house or apartment are locked and secured, and that nothing is left in clear view. And if possible, have a friend check in on your place while you're away for any signs of a break-in.
If you have neighbors that are not going home, they're going to stay around the Macomb community, have them park in your driveway every now and then so that a car is seen coming and going from your driveway.
During break, Macomb Police and OPS will send extra patrols to areas around campus. OPS advises if you see anything suspicious, call Macomb Police Department or OPS.
It's been 2 years since a deadly explosion happened in downtown Canton, Illinois. Now an investigation has wrapped up concluding it was caused by a third-party error. The explosion killed 38-year-old Artira Silva Jr. and injured several others. The National Transportation Safety Board said that company Sure Shot did not excavate the utility crossing to visually inspect the work while in progress, causing pipeline damage. On Monday, Congresswoman Sherry Bustos released a statement followed by the release of the NTSB report. She said the tragedy was avoidable and happened because people ignored state laws.
Coming up next on Live at 4.
After a ceremony in his home state of Texas, President George H.W. Bush lies in state. See how people paid respect to the former commander-in-chief coming up next.
National Broadcasting Society helps the future of broadcasting get the tools needed to succeed in an ever-growing media world. At Western Illinois University, the professional connections students bring to our chapter of NBS have opened doors to networking possibilities that students otherwise wouldn't have. The opportunities we are given as students at WIU allow us to make connections today for success tomorrow.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
I chose Western Illinois University because I could get involved right away. You're going to gain experience. I'm going to be able to just become successful right out the gate. I'll be a news reporter and eventually become a news anchor one day. I've always felt that as a strong speaker, I could be a voice for the voiceless, but as long as I continue to believe in myself, work hard, and show that I want to put my best foot forward, I think that anything is possible.
Live from Salee Hall in high definition. Live at 4 continues.
President George H.W. Bush continues to lie in state at the U.S. Capitol Tuesday, where he was visited by both the public and small groups of people that were important to the president. Natasha Chen is on Capitol Hill with the latest on how the country continues to honor its 41st president.
Many officials and government staff are making their way through the rotunda today, but so are members of the public. Some people have said they drove here from other states to be part of a rare opportunity to pay their respects to the former president.
Everyday Americans, influential leaders, and family all continue to honor the life and service of President George H.W. Bush.
There's a time for politics and there's a time for governing, but there's also a time for reflection. And this is a time for reflection for our country, to think about the values that make our country great.
Taking the time for that reflection today on Capitol Hill, current and several former heads of the CIA as a group paid their respects to the man who served as the 11th director of the Central Intelligence Agency. And some of the military leaders of Operation Desert Storm who served under President Bush, including Colin Powell, said Bush was very deliberate in how he planned for war.
He cared about every single soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine we sent over there. And he wanted us to finish the war quickly and to get out of Iraq and back home and away from Kuwait quickly.
Others who paid their respects included members of the president's personal Secret Service detail and the president's service dog, Sully, who appeared alongside other beneficiaries of the Americans with Disabilities Act, a law President Bush signed in 1990.
It changed the lives of so many people with disabilities, myself included, and it still is one of the most profound legacies of his presidency.
President Bush will continue to lie in state in the Capitol Rotunda until tomorrow morning, when a procession will take him to the Washington National Cathedral for a national funeral service. In Washington, I'm Natasha Chen. Back to you.
Following that service, the former president will be taken home to Texas. He will be laid to rest next to his daughter Robin and wife Barbara on the campus of Texas A&M in College Station.
All right, in health coverage from the state, the Illinois Department of Public Health wants you to be aware of the risk of hepatitis A. IDPH has confirmed that 5 cases of the virus have been discovered in the state. The department says an average of 70 cases are discovered in Illinois each year. So far, 69 cases have been found. Hepatitis A is spread when a person consumes infected fecal matter. Those most at risk are men who have sex with men, the homeless, and people who use drugs. However, the virus can also be spread through food and water. Symptoms of the virus include fever, fatigue, loss of appetite, nausea and vomiting, abdominal pain, discoloration or discolored urine, and joint pain. There is a vaccine to help prevent the hepatitis A infection. IDPH has requested a significant amount of vaccines from the CDC. The vaccine will be delivered to local health departments and will be available for free or at a reduced cost.
Higher rates of ADHD diagnosis have been linked to babies born in a certain month in certain states. In today's Health Minute, Meredith Wood has more.
Many couples try to plan the perfect month to get pregnant, and a new study found August may not be the best month to give birth. Children born in August in states where the cutoff to start kindergarten is a September 1st birthday are more likely than children in other states to be diagnosed and treated for ADHD. That's according to a study published in the New England Journal of Medicine. There are 21 states with this cutoff date, according to the Education Commission of the United States, meaning kids born in August in these states are usually the youngest in their classrooms, sometimes nearly a year younger than some of their classmates, which researchers say could be a part of the problem. Health experts say the study confirms on a larger scale what some other studies have shown on smaller ones. But it doesn't account for how kids were diagnosed or if their physicians were following the right protocols to properly diagnose them for ADHD. For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
Well, colder temperatures could be on the way following storms over the weekend.
Molly Nason has a look at your 5-day forecast when we come back.
On Tuesday, November 6th,
our state will be making some important decisions.
You might think it's not important,
or your vote doesn't matter.
But that's not true.
If you don't know how
or where to register,
visit vote.gov.
Make your voice heard.
Create your success at Western Illinois University. Automatic scholarships and affordable education and more are all yours at Western Illinois University. Apply today at wiu.edu.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
I want to be able to stand in front of a camera and tell people the story of what the weather's going to be like that day, or be able to tell people, hey, there's something coming your way, you need to take cover, you need to watch out. And being able to stand in front of a camera and tell not only people who are directly involved, but their family members as well, like, this is what's going on. It's been very important to me because, you know, being in those situations where you are relying on the news to tell you what's going on, and I like to be a part of that and helping people with that. Good afternoon and welcome back, Macomb. We are seeing a little bit of cooler temperatures outside with some cloudy skies. Currently 28 degrees out right now, so we're already below freezing as we're going into our afternoon. Winds are out of the west-northwest at 9 miles per hour, so not too windy outside. There's a very high humidity, so we are seeing some snowflakes, but we're not going to be seeing any accumulation from these snowflakes. Dew point is low at around 24 degrees. Again, we are well below average for about this time of year. We have had a high in the upper 60s before. I would like that to come back. I miss the warm weather. But we are below average. We're actually right around what our average low would be, but we're going to get a little bit colder than that. Lots of high pressure systems around the area. Not a whole lot in the way of snow. There's a little bit down to the south. Again, not a whole lot here. Just some flurries occasionally. Not a whole lot. Again, you can still see there's plenty of clouds over us, but with the radar, not a whole lot happening. We are seeing those clouds, not a whole lot of snow, not a whole lot of rain either. Again, about 28 degrees, 29 in Macomb, 31 in Beardstown, and 31 in Springfield. Again, we are having these cooler temperatures because we did have those severe storms blow through our area over the weekend, bringing a cold front behind it. 22 degrees tonight for a low, 24 in Beardstown and 24 down in Quincy. There are some patchy areas of flooding down by Quincy and Beardstown, but for tomorrow, high of 40 degrees. We're going to be just a little bit warmer tomorrow. 42 in Beardstown, 44 in Quincy, so low to mid 40s, a little bit warmer. But tomorrow night, we're going to get down below freezing again with Beardstown at 30, Macomb at 27, Quincy down at 29. Again, for tonight, we are going to see some partly cloudy skies. Moon's going to come out just a little bit as we go into the next morning. Winds are going to be out of the west at 9 miles per hour with a low of 22 degrees. Looking at tomorrow, we're going to have partly cloudy skies with a high of 40. So those clouds are going to keep some of that heat that we do have trapped within our atmosphere, keeping us a little bit warmer. But those winds are going to be picked up just a little bit, going up to 12 miles per hour. So we're still going to see a little bit windier skies tomorrow. Not a whole lot going on with our 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy skies all the way through the weekend. High of 40 tomorrow. Then we get colder, high of 28 on Thursday. The lows are going to dip down into the teens for the rest of the week. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, again, below freezing. Sunday, we're going to get just above freezing, so a little bit of a warm-up just in time for the weekend.
I know, we've had the blizzard, we've had the tornadoes. Now it looks kind of quiet and just cold.
Weather has calmed down a little bit. It's a little bit quieter, but yes, cold.
Blizzard, tornado, what's next? Earthquake?
I know.
Hopefully not an earthquake.
All
no.
seasons, all right?
All right, Connor, you can give us those updates for all the basketball that's well underway now.
Oh yeah, you said it. Coming up next after the break, we've got Macomb High girls basketball for you as they took on Bushnell Prairie City. And women's basketball was in action today against Bradley. Macomb High had its big matchup against Bushnell Prairie City at Washington Street Gym. The Bombers looking for the win. And could the Western Illinois women's basketball team bolster their record as they took on Bradley earlier this afternoon? All that coming up next in sports.
I started to think about doing broadcasting my freshman year. I started calling some football games for the freshman football team. My high school didn't really have a broadcasting program like some do, and so a lot of my stuff was just PA for different sports, for basketball, for volleyball. And my mom signed me up for a visit to come to Western on a Discover Western day. And I walked through the doors of the rec center, and Buzz Hoon shook my hand and said, "Zach Stone, I've seen all your footage, I know who you are, and you belong here." And that's what really makes WIU feel like home.
Disaster tips from the objects left behind.
My home wasn't insured, but you can check your insurance policy now to make sure you're covered. Oh.
My savings are lost, but you can put money aside and plan for unexpected disaster costs.
We're lost forever, but you can scan important documents now so they survive.
For more tips on how to prepare, visit ready.gov.
The first time I met Morris, the door flew open and I got this larger-than-life personality talking at the top of his lungs.
Hey, how you doing today?
Oh, man. Oh, I totally forgot. Hold on, let me get this for you. Oh. Just had a magnetic energy. So I thought, all right, we're definitely going to be friends.
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
America, let's do lunch!
Why I love to do sports anchoring? Because, I mean, it's talking about sports. I decided to come to Western because I wanted an experience that wasn't like some other schools. I did color commentary for one volleyball game. I was terrified. I never did any broadcasting in high school, but when I was talking, it was all, staggered, and I had no idea what I was saying, and now I've done so many different games as a color commentator, play-by-play, now sports anchor. Every show and every game, it gets easier and easier, and I get more comfortable doing it. Last night, the Macomb High girls basketball team was in action against Bushnell Prairie City. Let's take a look at the highlights. What a game it was, a back-and-forth affair. Let's start things off early, as it was a really good game, I promise. Here it is. So let's start this off early. The Bombers getting ready for this matchup. Bushnell Prairie City's Madison Allen, though, would get things started for the Spartans. Steals the ball, gets it to go in, the layup. Macomb's Riley Creasy hits a three from the top of the arc, draining it for Macomb. Again, this was a very back-and-forth affair. DeAndre Lorden runs down the court with a nice layup for the Spartans. And this game close from the get-go. Lady Bombers' Reagan Johnson hits a three right there for the Macomb High Bombers as head coach and company getting ready for the second half. Zach Keane, the head coach, Macomb's Hallie Evans this time. Gets the bounce, she'll hit the three, and then Evans again, this time lays it in after the bounce pass, putting it in for the Bombers. Macomb High couldn't get it done, but they would continue to put up the fight. There's another layup right there for the Bombers, as the Bombers end up winning this one, 57-48. They're still looking for their first win of the season after dropping this one by a final score of 57-48. Next up for the Bombers is the matchup against Astoria on Saturday. It was an early one today for the Western Illinois women's basketball team as they look to take on Bradley this morning. That started at 11 a.m. The game down in Peoria was a heavily contested one that saw Western Illinois come up just short at the Renaissance Coliseum. Midday basketball for the women's ended in a loss. J.D. Gravina's Leathernecks entered the second half trailing by 12 and didn't cut the deficit until the fourth quarter, where they trailed by just 5. The Braves ended up being too much to handle, pulling away to beat Western by 14. What a past few games it has been for the Western Illinois men's basketball team. The Leathernecks are coming off of back-to-back wins against SIUE and then Southeastern Missouri State. Now it's a matchup tomorrow in Florida against Stetson. The game will be tomorrow night at 6 p.m. The Leathernecks look to improve their record to over 500 on the season. Stetson, coming on into this one, has just one win on the year. The Leathernecks will look to have another great performance from freshman Ben Pyle, who is coming off of his first double-double in his collegiate career. Once again, that is tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central Time. That's sports. Don't go anywhere. Coming up after the break, we look at a festive ceremony kicking off Christmas season.
I learned broadcasting for 3 years in high school, so towards my senior year, I was pretty much invested in wanting to pursue a career, and I do enjoy it now, but I'm searching for a way to make sure that it's something that I want to pursue after college. That way, I'll be able to wake up every day and say, this is something I want to do, this is something that I love, this is something that I can teach, I can spread, I can affect people with.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
I was living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
The holiday season was in full effect last Thursday when the McDonough District Hospital held their 13th annual Festival of Trees. The event was open for the community to go view beautifully decorated Christmas trees. Money raised at the event went to the Dolores Cater Switzer Women's Center.
That's right. To find out when the festival is taking place next year, visit the Facebook page. Just search Festival of Lights, Macomb.
It's always that time of the year.
Yeah, it's always. I mean, I'm pretty excited. I mean, not only is it break, but you know, it's Christmas. All right, Molly, so that last update for weather.
There's not much going on as far as weather. We're going to be partly cloudy for most part. Not too much going on, but we are going to get colder, so.
All right, thanks, Molly, and that's all for us today.
But we're online all the time.
Stay up to date with us, news3wyu.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Just search our handle, news3wyu. You can also search for us on YouTube and subscribe.
Thank you for joining us this evening.
From all of us at News 3, have a good night, Macomb.